Greetings.
Hello, everyone.
We're sorry. We are super duper tired, but we felt the need to get some information out this evening because we've been looking at the news in Baltimore, and we know this person. We have a particular direct relationship with this person, and we wanted to give you some insight on kind of what's going on and how this fits in with the whole algorithm with the 13 pattern.
Years.
So again, remember, Can You Dig It? This is today.
Hey.
So, what I want to explain to you is I have a very special, unique set of eyes, and you have a unique set of
Skills like Liam Neeson.
like, yeah. Can you dig it?
Just
okay.
like it.
Okay. So, I apologize if I offend you with things that I say. We have something called the Santana effect because I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not doing anything political.
We just found a pattern that you can use the number 13 and it shows the same exact thing. It shows not risk and reward, but it shows sacrifice and reward.
Yes.
And it's the number 13 always is in there. And this particular case is someone that we actually happen to know, who is from Baltimore. And if once you start hearing a little bit about the case, you're going to say, wait a minute.
Right. So if you think that your name doesn't matter, I want you to just please follow along with this. And for you folks in Baltimore, this is an extra additional treat for you folks in Baltimore because you'll know some personal things about this because it's not getting all the nationwide attention. But if you think your name isn't important, let me explain to you who this gentleman is. This gentleman's name is Mr. Stephen Kenyon. I've known him because I used to train with him. I used to train with this guy, and he used to work for me for roughly 2 years on and off. I'm not going to have a conversation with the police in reference to Mr. Stephen Kenyon because the police are not reliable or trustworthy. So I'm going to tell you everything you need to know, and you do what you need to do with this. But Mr. Stephen Kenyon, I guess I've known him for maybe about 8 to 10 years. He was a martial arts instructor, and when I met him, he had a gym out in White Marsh, and I was taking classes out in White Marsh, and his gym was getting shut down. So his gym got shut down, so we pretty much lost contact. So I would touch bases here and there because I had some spaces available, and he was interested in renting spaces on my block, and so periodically he would stop through and ask me if I had a space available, and so I hadn't heard anything from him for a couple of years, and then I think like 2017, before we moved to Holland, around 2017, I can get the exact date if pressed. He gave me a call because he was having some bad situations. His phone was off. He'd called me on Duo because his phone was off, and he didn't have his phone was off. His truck was broke. He didn't have any money. He was in a bad place. So I gave him a job. I turned his phone on for him. I gave him some money, and I gave him a job in my lab to do eyeglasses. And more importantly, this man has worked in the prison system. He's been working in the prison system since 2017.
Which means he had to have had a clearance, a background check.
So here's some information that you're going to find interesting about this gentleman. For those who are familiar with this case, and those who are familiar with the Santana effect, and those who are familiar with the 13-year pattern and the 13-year algorithm, the people who have found this case are going to find that they're going to keep saying that this abuse started in 2009. You'll keep noticing 2009. And matter of fact, why can't I just show you if you've been following this? But you see, if you go to this guide, you say go to the news. All I'm going to say is this guy has been doing this since
2009.
2009. This guy here been doing this here, underage people. He impregnated these children, and they're going to say, I'm sorry, my computer is
slow.
Rubbish. Everything's going to say 2009. And the reason why they're going to keep mentioning 2009 is because, see, 2009, everything keeps going back to 2009. Like, why is it so important? This guy has molested these children and impregnated children. Why is it so important?
And they're not saying that he has been investigated since 2009.
They say this has been going on since 2009.
Yeah.
Right? They said, listen, sex crimes for more than a decade, and check it out. It's going to all say 2009. The reason why it's 2009 is because this gentleman, Stephen Kenyon. I just want to see 2009 just to show you an example. Let me know when you see 2009. Bam, 2009 right there. See? You're going to see it everywhere you go. It's going to keep telling you 2009. Because the reason why I tell you 2009 is because he falls in the 13-year algorithm. Now, here's something interesting what I want you to consider if you live in Baltimore.
Not now.
I want you to consider this. This gentleman, Mr. Stephan Kenyon. Stephen Kenyon. Why do I keep calling Stephan?
I have no idea. Like, I'm so confused. Like, why does he keep saying that?
That's weird.
It's very weird.
We'll figure it out. So, Mr. Kenyon, what part are we talking about?
No, so basically, this guy, they had to keep harping on. It's been going back since 2009. I'm not, like I said, they didn't say that he's been under investigation since 2009. They just say these relationships go back to, at least we know, 2009.
So the reason why they're doing that is because this gentleman, Mr. Stephan Kenyon, this particular gentleman, Steve, why am I keep doing it, man? What's is it?
To be contrary.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Stephen Kenyon, this gentleman right here. So he worked in my lab for off and on 2 years, and he worked directly inside of all of the prisons in Maryland, doing eye optometry clinics and delivering eyeglasses for 2 years off and on. I also want you to understand that in order for him to be able to go inside the institutions, he had to go to a full background check, which took like 3 months. Also, I want you to understand that the Baltimore City school system, they're also telling you the same thing.
Yep, they do fingerprints.
Fingerprints, everything.
Yes.
So, but here's what you're going to find out. This guy here is a character who's been allowed to do these things just for a particular reason. I am very hurtful and I feel very bad that these things are taking place to these children. But when I saw this come up, a sense of relief came off over me because that was supposed to be me. They were supposed to find a despicable character that they would be able to embarrass and humiliate.
But looking at the crimes that he's being accused of, these crimes are so heinous that this is not something that you start at the age of 43.
Exactly.
This is a behavior that has been going on throughout life.
But most importantly, I want you to understand this. For the folks in Baltimore, you guys are fully aware that. So here's what I just found out. I did a little investigating and found out that in 2012, he was fully prosecuted and found guilty of this complete thing. He was found guilty of heinous acts and lewd acts with children in 2012. This was completely erased and removed from his record, so you can't see it. So what I'm trying to explain to you is there's an operation where criminals are allowed to do crime to law-abiding citizens and go inside of systems and do crime knowingly. The police know this. Like, literally, if you talk to people in Baltimore, you're going to find out that there's a child out there that was born, and this child is like 16 now, but there's children out there. But he was convicted and tried, and he was found guilty of lewd acts in 2012. That did not and does not show up on his background check. And the reason why I know about this is because the exact same thing happened to me. But for the people out there who don't see the obvious, I've been trying to explain things to you about doing terrible things. I want you to understand that you can't be named certain frequencies because you just shouldn't. For example, let's start. Oh man, I messed up. Damn. Take example, this guy right here, Stephen Kenyon, right? This article was done by WBAL-TV out of Baltimore on September the 29th, 2022. Stephen Kenyon, this is the Kung Fu instructor. It was done by a guy named Mr. Barry Sims. This is a picture of Barry Sims.
It's a baby.
Oh. It's a baby Barry Sims.
Everything's cute when they're a baby.
Oh, hey, here's a picture. This is the news reporter who did this, Barry Sims. This is a picture of Barry Sims as an adult. I mean, it's like he has a change of pic. Oh, he just looks. Oh, you know what? The glasses. He looks different without his glasses.
He do.
So this is the article. Check it out. Stephen Kenyon, Baltimore police arrested Kung Fu instructor. What you're also going to find out what they're not mentioning, they're purposely not mentioning, he's also a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
So they keep telling you he's a Kung Fu instructor, and the schools have insulated themselves perfectly. But the police are always sloppy, but because police are corrupt and there's no one to follow them, they don't care about how sloppy they've done things. But they kept him on and let him keep working as a contractor because the schools knew and were fully aware of what he'd done. You're going to find out that multiple principals were told directly by the students that he had touched them.
Yep.
But you're going to find that he was found guilty and tried for that. So what happens? But they're telling you that former karate teacher Stephen Kenyon, 56 years old, he started having relations. Said, here you go, 2009. See, that's 13 years. They love doing that. See, they love doing these things. So then, after 13 years, they get to make a horrible character out of somebody. He's it. They did it to Charles Manson. They did it to Wuornos, the person they put, Eileen Wuornos, and they were doing it to me. But I found the pattern and have been able to change a couple of things for a little while. Man, so check it out. So he has he had a relationship with a child that's 8, 10, and 14 years old. Now, when I saw him, he just seemed like a man down on his luck, so I wanted to give him a job. So I had no idea that child. He told me the child who was with him was his grandson, and that's what I thought. It looked like him, and I thought it was his grandson. I had no need to question it. So check me out. Let me show you what's funny about people and how you keep lying and being despicable.
But what's crazy is one of the comments on the news thing says, damn, he's committed 13 years of assault. It's like everybody
is harping on the 13 because they do this as part of this character building, because now they're going to make a movie out of him, everything. Yep. But we're going to expose you that everybody's involved in this thing's been allowed to happen, and the police has been involved in the entire town. So let me tell you about these names and these frequencies and who's going to do what. Let me tell you about a story. See this guy right here? This guy right here is a teacher out of the UK, and he's got to go to court for doing something that's not so awesome. He's going to court because he liked touching the breast of little girls. It's weird. His name is what's his name? Let's go back. I see what his name is.
There it is.
You saw? Boom. Stephen Kenyon.
How, y'all?
A computer sex teacher. I'm sorry.
They just changed the I and the Y.
So I want you to understand that 2 teachers by the name of Stephen Kenyon have both been charged with sexual assault of little children, little girls in particular. That's a coincidence, right? Ain't that a coincidence? You know, I don't know why I'm the only one who sees coincidence. Let me give you another coincidence. Anyone in Baltimore, this is especially for you, and familiar with a guy named Mark Alexander Fuller. He's a stinky breath guy. Just stinky breath guy. He's an implant. But if you're familiar with him, you'll remember that he did a Ponzi scheme in Atlanta. Anyone familiar with Mark Alexander Fuller, you pull up his criminal record now and try to Google anything in the court case search, and it's going to not show anything. It's going to show him as a clean, squeaky person. The Ponzi scheme that he did in Atlanta, Georgia, does not show up anymore. But check me out. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to show you how this works. Do you think these things are just coincidences? This guy right here. This guy stole all of the money from his autistic brother, half brother, when his mother died. And what's his name? His name is Mark Fuller. Like, listen, I know y'all think that names don't matter and frequencies don't matter and vibrations don't matter, but I assure you these things matter. It's like they say this guy right here is like this a despicable human being. He conned his own autistic brother out of his money. You know, Ponzi scheme is a fraud. He's a piece of garbage. Mark Fuller. Now, case in point, same thing in Baltimore. Mark Alexander Fuller. He's a complete fraudster. He's an implant, and he's a Boogawuuf too. He's true. And he was implanted into Baltimore to destroy the black community in 1982. This is him as a child.
I didn't see his presentation, y'all, so I'm just getting a whiff of what's happening here. Oh my God.
So look, there you go. Look at that. Ouch, Elliot.
How did you get everybody's baby picture? You got berries and marks?
I got both. That's
crazy.
I got special set.
It's amazing.
So I want you to tell you, I would explain to you that it matters what you name your child. It matters the frequencies. There's a reason why they they tell a woman to take the last name of her husband.
What's he holding in his hand?
He's holding Reese's Cups, Reese's Pieces.
What is it?
It's Reese's Pieces.
It look like a lens.
It's Reese's Pieces. He loves E.T.'s Reese's Pieces.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So listen, all I'm simply saying is two things. If you're in Baltimore, you know for sure. You know Mark Alexander Fuller breath stink. You know he got half a head, and you also know he was convicted of fraud in the Ponzi scheme in Atlanta. Do a case search on him and you're going to find all that's completely gone. He's part of that implant program. The same thing with Stefan Kenyon, this gentleman right here. Him. Same implant program who are allowed to do shit for a period of time. Mm-hmm. And then when they need somebody to put in the media for doing something dastardly, when they can't find an innocent man who fixed worldwide blindness, what they've been trying to do, they find somebody vile who was touching children. Now, I'm on record fighting child pedophilia. I'm on record being against sexual harassment. I fired 3 men for sexual harassing women, managers of women who were not even full-time people. So I'm on record with that. In addition to that, I'm on record. Mr. Kenyon Martin, Mr. Stefan Kenyon. Stephen Kenyon.
It's weird.
He had an assistant, his student by the name of Malik. His student by the name of Malik was a security officer on my block because there was a liquor store and a church. So a whole bunch of things went on in between. So I hired him as a security officer. I then later had to fire him because he had bought liquor for underage little girls. And someone told me that he had been looking at little girls. So I fired him for looking at little girls because Can You Dig It? Don't play that shit. So when I told Stephen Kenyon, hey man, I got to fire your student because, you know, I already be looking at little girls, and he bought some little girls, some underage girls, alcohol. Stephen told me that he knows better than that. And Stephen went on against him and went very, very hard against him. And Stephen told me he had to fire him because he kissed a little girl on the head at Cherry Hill Middle School. So the way Stephen Kenyon talked about this young man and how disgusting he was,
you would have never thought
I would never
that accusations of him impregnating multiple children,
none,
would ever come up.
So now this here, I'm not going to talk to the police because the police are involved, and you're going to find the police have been hiding all of his crimes he's been doing for 13 years.
Exactly.
So like I'm telling you exactly what's going on.
This man was hopping from elementary school, middle schools, all over the place in Baltimore City. And he's a pastor. Exactly. You can't. And you look it up in the children were making all kinds of complaints
directly to the principal.
Yeah, directly to the people,
listen,
and they didn't do anything.
He was convicted of this. So understand that I fired him. I was living in Holland at the time when I had fired him because when I had given him a job, like I said, he didn't have his cell phone was off. His truck was broke down. He didn't have any money. He didn't have any food. So we were having a cookout. We took the leftover food over to his house for a cookout. And I gave him some money, and I paid to get his cell phone turned on, and I sent it to my homeboy to get his truck fixed. It was a red Dodge Durango. So I looked out for the dude, but it wasn't for any particular reason other than he's a brother, he's got children, and give him a shot. So I had to fire him because no matter what was taking place in my business, he was obsessed with going to the schools. Now, here's what never made any sense to me. He was completely flat broke when I met him, not a dime, nothing, not his phone turned on. And the way his contract was set up was he would get paid like $25,000 every 6 months. And sometimes it would take longer, so he would be completely broke. So when I hired him, I was paying him almost double what he was paying from his contract. But he kept on trying to make my job the side job. He would try to come in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then 8 o'clock dart over to the schools, and then after school, then try to come back and work in my lab. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't treat my job like a side hustle. And I'm like, this didn't make any sense. It never made any sense to me, especially for the fact when his contract hadn't been renewed and he hadn't been paid. So he had been going to the schools every day without getting paid for months at a time. And I'm like, man, how can you find a way to get to the school who's not paying you? But with me, you getting a full paycheck. I'm paying you more. I did you a solid. And it's like it never made any sense to me. But then, when I get this text message showing that he was got these children pregnant, it made all the sense in the world. The only reason, all the sense in the world, and listen, I'm not trying to talk bad about him. I'm just telling you exactly my experience with this gentleman. I had to fire him. Mm-hmm. And any further details, I'll talk to a person about it. I'm not talking to the police about it because they're part of it, and they was trying to set me up doing something very similar with stealing my business and stealing all my money, which we'll get to later on in this because I'm in a different type of algorithm that they try to put me in. But understand that if anyone needs any further questions, I have an assistant and a woman who worked directly with them and some people in my lab who worked directly with him who had a schedule and knew what his schedule was. That knows that I had to keep explaining, like, man, what the fuck? Why are you not showing up to this job you're getting paid for? Never made sense. But then this happened, and it made sense. So, I hope that gives you a little insight on some things on how these names really matter and their deeds. But please,
and these people are being allowed to do these things.
And Barry Sims. See, I try to talk to Barry Sims as a young Barry Sims and try to explain to him to tell the truth. See, look at Barry Sims. Look how much integrity he used to have.
He's so cute.
He's so cute. He's so adorable. Barry Sims. Look how, You know, Barry Sims. Barry Sims. I just say he has. So the reason why I'm so disappointed with Barry Sims is because this is my beacon. This is today. When we were pregnant, in Mexico with twins. I was on the phone with Barry Sims for a couple of hours explaining my situation when someone was trying to murder me. And Barry Sims buried the story and pretended like it didn't happen. And I was hiding from my life for a couple of days thinking that he was talking to people and calling different people and calling politicians. And this nigga act like it never even happened. Mm-hmm. So it's my personal duty to expose everything that I've exposed to him because he's aware of the prison fraud. So it's my job to humiliate this baboon, this gorilla, monkey ass nigga who kissed white people ass so bad. This Uncle Tom ass nigga, he's the worst kind of nigga. And I just want him to know that when he goes into work and when the white people are looking at him and they're smiling at him, I want him to know that they laughing at you, nigga. They saying, yup, he was much cuter as...
He was. So cute.
So I want you to understand that you put this beautiful woman and my children in jeopardy, you piece of shit. You're going to get found out for that Barry Sims. So that's the reason why I show his baby pictures. So, I just want you to understand that these frequencies, you know, this guy here, his name is... Stephen Kenyon, man, he is touching a stool girl for a sexual thrill. 14 years old.
It's the same article.
This is 14 years old girl, and look, check it out. Stephen Kenyon up here. Look at Barry Sims. Barry Sims, great article, but he was talking about 14 years old. Look at that, at 14 years old. But this has been going on for 13 years, right? So if it's been going on for 13 years, y'all gotta understand that. Hey, if the person who was 14 now is, I don't know, but nonetheless,
I think she's 16 or something like that.
But nonetheless, they're putting these ages out of here, and these aren't the ages that they are right now.
Exactly.
They're putting these 14s out here in these numbers because this cat, they're gonna fry this dude because of they need somebody to take away from what they're truly doing. But these things have been allowed to happen. So I want you to understand that this man has been allowed to prowl the Baltimore City and county public schools with full knowledge of the police, the Baltimore City State's attorneys, Marilyn Mosby, full knowledge that this man was a convicted pedophile. You got to understand that Baltimore is not a hick city. We are a metropolis city with a huge, we make a lot of money in Baltimore. It's a large, a very major city. Not very safe though. But you can't get somebody pregnant in school and nobody know about that. Like literally, you got kids out there. So everyone knew about this, but somehow no one in school known. Now, but you're going to find out the reason why is because these things are allowed to happen. The same thing with me. I was working in the prison system for 13 years, and in 13 years they try to throw something on me. Not with anything with kid stuff because yuck. So, but I want you to understand that, again, this gentleman here from the UK, Kenyon Martin, Stephen Kenyon, 14-year-old, you know, because he wanted to have a sexual thrill. This guy here, Mark Fuller, he's a fraud. He stole, look at his thousands of pounds from his autistic half brother when from his mother died. Look at it. They call him Mean Marks Fuller, right? And look, of Gateshead, Roberta Gatewood. Yeah. Roberta Gatewood. I have a whole video on you. You and your husband, Mr. Neal. Man, y'all gonna get divorced real soon because when I show him what you did, he gonna be too embarrassed to hold your hand in public when I show him what you did, Roberta Gatewood. But it's also these things, but also Mark Fuller of Gatehead, and Mark Head is shaped like a gate, right? Like these things right itself. And again, Mark Boogawuufs Fuller with a stinky breath, but here again, the same thing. A fraudster. His name is Mark Alexander Fuller. He's a complete fraudster. You know why you know he's a fraudster?
Because Mark full of shit.
Full of shit, and his breath smell like dookie. And when I say dookie, I mean what comes out of a butt. But you know it's true because it's right here in black and white. And he's a Boogawuuf. And listen, it's in his name. And look, He told you back in 1982 that he was going to be the one.
Oh my God.
So it matters. So, anything else you want to discuss?
Oh yeah, I wanted to show that Tucker Carlson. And listen, I do not go for any of these people. It just so happened that he was talking about the pipeline over there with Russia. And I wanted to play that clip that I woke up to this morning.
You ever felt it?
And explain some things. It's in email.
Email? So when we'll do this, why don't you find that? And why don't you take a look at something for me? So listen, I have a particular set of eyes, me and both myself and Ariel, and we're here to warn you about something that you got to pay attention to that you may have seen before, but you just don't know what you're seeing when you're looking at it. So it's our duty to point out things to you that you may not have seen when you saw it the first time.
Yes.
So if you can let us show something to you, please, and please be patient with us. And
I'm just trying to get the link, guys.
so what you do is play this video while you're looking for that, so this way the video can play for them.
Well, I'm trying to get to it.
No, it's
I gotta
another
get the link. Hold on, it's right here.
You'll
Right
see.
here.
You'll see what I mean when I'm finished. You're like, okay, I got it.
Okay, well.
Perfect.
Need to copy. All right. So we can be here. Can I take this off?
Let's do another one.
Oh, okay.
Because they gotta see.
Gotcha.
Listen, y'all. Al Green is in danger. He lucky. He just lucky. He dodged a bullet. Al Green's in danger. Anybody who loves Al Green, let him know that he's in danger. But who's that? Okay, so everybody knows that I already told you Chappelle's in danger. LeBron James in the worst danger. Cat Williams in danger. Eddie Griffin's in danger. Jay-Z is not in danger. If I were you guys, I would. Okay. Jay-Z has stolen something that doesn't belong to him. But he is talented. So,
Definitely.
No. So it's like he is holding on to something. Y'all don't realize that David Chappelle is actually Jay-Z stole Chappelle's power. Literally stole David Chappelle's power. No one has any idea.
One of the environmental catastrophes, one of the great environmental catastrophes of our time, is unfolding tonight off the coast.
And just for the record, we did podcasts about this. We've done about 7 or 8 podcasts.
Yep.
Telling everybody they're going to hit the pipelines. The pipelines.
Yeah, we can even play a little snippet from our video after this.
Okay,
so
that's
they
a
can
good idea.
see that. Yeah, we've discussed this.
Cool. I'll make you a sandwich.
I'll do it. You go ahead.
Coast of Denmark. The Nord Stream pipelines, which are enormous Russian-owned conduits that carry natural gas from Russia to Western Europe, have been breached. As we speak, Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 are pouring millions of cubic meters of natural gas into the Baltic Sea. Pictures from the air, which you can now see on your screen, show a toxic bubble field more than half a mile wide. You can only guess at how many marine mammals are being killed right now, countless. But the lasting damage may be to the atmosphere. Natural gas is comprised of up to 90% methane. Methane, as Joe Biden has often told you, is the key driver of global warming, which is, of course, an existential threat to humanity and the planet. So if you're worried about climate change, what just happened to the Nord Stream pipelines is as close to the apocalypse as we have ever come. So the question is, how did this happen? And it turns out it was not an accident. At the very same time that leaks in these pipelines were detected, Swedish officials recorded 2 powerful undersea explosions, each one of which was equivalent to hundreds of pounds of TNT. Nothing in nature can account for that. Almost immediately, the pipelines began leaking in 3 separate places. So there's only one explanation for what happened. This was an act of industrial terrorism. That was very obvious to the Prime Minister of Poland, and he wasted no time in saying so. Watch.
Mamy też do czynienia.
Today,
We are also dealing with an act of sabotage. We do not know the details of what happened yet, but we can clearly see that it is an act of sabotage. An act that probably marks the next stage in the escalation of the situation we are dealing with in Ukraine.
We can clearly see, he said, this was an act of sabotage, an act of terrorism. Well, yes, we can see that. So the question is who did it, and of course the prime suspect is obvious. It would be the same man who caused domestic inflation here in the U.S. and stole the 2016 election from Hillary Clinton. That'd be Vladimir V. Putin. The Washington Post got right to it. Putin, they declared, is now weaponizing the Nord Stream pipelines. According to the Canadian ambassador to the UN, Vladimir Putin has decided to use, quote, pollution as an act of war. Progressive Twitter strongly endorsed this conclusion. Putin did it. And that makes sense until you thought about it for just a moment. Vladimir Putin may be evil. They tell us that he is evil. But is he stupid? Probably isn't stupid.
He's not stupid.
And yet, and here's the strange part, if you are Vladimir Putin, you would have to be a suicidal moron to blow up your own energy pipelines. That's the one thing you would never do. Natural gas...
Now understand, the way that he makes money and the way that they hold all of Europe and keep Europe warm is through the pipelines. You understand that he just blew those pipelines up, and Vladimir Putin owns the pipelines. They're Russia's pipelines, and that's Russia's wealth. They're trying to say that Vladimir Putin blew up his own pipelines.
Gas pipelines are the main source of your power and your wealth, and most critically, your leverage over other countries. Europe needs your energy, now more than ever with winter approaching. If you can't deliver that energy...
Look how big this is.
Countries...
Understand, look at this. Here's Germany here. Here's Finland here. You see, look at these countries. Look how big this pipeline is. This thing is massive. It's humongous. It goes through multiple countries. It's owned by Russia. Now, if Russia owns this pipeline and is warming and giving all these places and all these countries gas and oil and can go up and down the price anytime they want, then why would they blow up their own pipeline and mess up their own money? Just common sense.
Countries like Germany have no need to pay attention to what you want. You're in the middle of a war, an all-hands-on-deck war, so you need all the leverage you can get. Under these circumstances, there is no chance you would blow up Nord Stream 1 or 2. Not now, obviously. In fact, it's so obvious that even our famously dim Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, seemed to acknowledge it. Sabotaging Nord Stream, he said today, is, quote, clearly in no one's interest. Right, but really only half right. It is true that blowing up Nord Stream does not help Vladimir Putin. He would not do that. Why would he? But that doesn't mean that other countries wouldn't consider doing it. They would consider it, and we know they have considered it because at least one of them has said so in public. In early February, less than 3 weeks before the war in Ukraine began, Joe Biden suggested on camera that he might take out these pipelines. Watch.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How?
Now, again, so he said that if Russia invades Ukraine, they're going to bring an end to Nord Stream 2. Russia has invaded Ukraine, and Nord Stream 2 has been sabotaged. Is there any reason why we should think it's anyone?
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Notice how he...
Now, listen, what's going on over there, you may not think affects what's taking place here in America. I assure you that all affects. You understand, it's a new reset. Things are going differently this time. So, during this last reset, started in 1912, we've been involved in multiple conflicts all over the world, at which we've actually been involved in all of them, and we've started them. But what hasn't happened through the last reset that started in 1912, as a result of 1912 sinking of the Titanic, starting from the 1925 reset, all the wars that America that has started and instigated have taken place on foreign soil. Under this new reset, things have changed. So you need to understand that they committed that foreign act of terrorism with the pipelines, with the Russian pipeline. I've already let you know that they're hitting ours. They've already started at Russia. So understand they're about to start hitting ours. They have to get us off of oil. The New World Order declares they have to take us off of oil. Because people have learned to harness oil, and simple people can control oil, and people can monetize oil. It becomes a real commodity. Whereas energy isn't a real commodity because it's ultimate, it's endless, it's not real, it's endless. And you can't monitor how much energy you use. You can't go to your light bill and you can't go to your light bulbs and your light switch and know what you're doing. You can't consume it. That's being controlled by someone else. Well, with oil, you can at least see, okay, well, this is how much oil's been in my car. This is how much those is in my tanker. You can monitor these things. But this New World Order deems that oil has to go. So in order for oil to go, they got to start a bunch of conflicts, a bunch of wars, a bunch of distractions. But mainly in America, to do all these things, they have to do all these things to get us distracted so they can destroy those pipelines.
How he phrased that, and he's the president, doesn't phrase things by accident, particularly when he's reading off cards. He didn't say, I will pause the delivery of gas from Russia to Germany. He said, there won't be a Nord Stream 2. We'll put an end to it. We'll take it out. We'll blow it up. How will you do this? He was asked. I promise you we will be able to do it. They thought this through. And yet those watching, very much including us, didn't take Biden seriously when he said it. This is the president who has declared climate change the most pressing emergency in the history of the world. This is the man who lectures you about using a wood stove or driving an SUV because of its emissions. This is the guy who spent billions trying to mitigate cow flatulence because methane. Would that guy really blow up a methane pipeline in the middle of the Baltic Sea? It was hard to imagine. That would be an unimaginably reckless act. That would be the kind of thing you would do if you wanted to start a nuclear war. It would be insane. And yet, in retrospect, it's obvious they were thinking about this because Joe Biden wasn't the only person to suggest it. Toria Nuland at the State Department said pretty much the very same thing. Nuland is a lifelong war cheerleader. She worked to bring about the Iraq invasion, never apologized, kept going. She helped engineer the coup that overthrew the Ukrainian government some years back. So capable, clearly she's capable of anything. But environmental terrorism, even for Toria Nuland, that seemed too much, too extreme. And yet here she is in January.
With regard to Nord Stream 2, we continue to have very strong and clear conversations with our German allies, and I want to be clear with you today. If Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward.
Come on.
One way or the other.
Listen,
we'll stop
man.
Nord Stream. Now, looking back, those words seem chilling 8 months later as natural gas pours into the Baltic Sea and into the atmosphere. So you have to ask, could the Biden administration really do something like this? We can't say for sure. We don't know for sure. We can tell you that close allies of the Biden White House believe they certainly did do it. Radek Sikorski is a Polish politician.
So, I don't want to play this whole thing because I don't want to take too much of your time up. But I want you to understand that by this being sabotage, this being deemed sabotage, and the whole world's talking about it, but I'm not sure if your news media is having any discussion about them blowing up a pipeline over there, then that's how World War II. That was one of the things that instigated World War II. The Hindenburg, you're going to find the Hindenburg. Do you know what year that was in Hindenburg, baby? Well, the Hindenburg explosion.
Was it 66?
No, it was much earlier.
It was much earlier.
Yeah, the Hindenburg explosion. You're gonna find that was sabotage, and the German government was aware of it, and it was called sabotage immediately, and it was just one of those instigating things. Well, here again, we have a situation where we sabotage a pipeline on foreign soil this time. That means that we now are in the algorithm for something to happen on our turf with the pipelines. So everything is in reverse. Whereas before we went and fought all over the world in different conflicts and started a whole bunch of shit, everything is coming home this time around. And this event that you saw over there that you're looking at and just saying that it's okay that the president just destroyed a fucking pipeline that's killing billions of wildlife and Lord knows what. It's wintertime and people need. But here's a kicker. What I want to end this portion with explaining that the exact same time that they blew up this fucking pipeline, they opened a brand new pipeline owned by Germany the same time.
You need to play that clip.
Oh man, okay, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, they got to hear it.
Man.
He's chairman of the EU-USA delegation in the European Parliament. He's connected. He's also the husband of regime stenographer Ann Applebaum of The Atlantic magazine. Sikorsky is so close to Joe Biden that he's got a picture of the two of them together in his Twitter profile. So when the pipelines blew up, Sikorsky responded immediately. And here's what he wrote. "Thank you, USA." So once again, did the Biden administration really do this? It's hard to believe. Given that it's an atrocity, it's effectively an act of terrorism, we don't want to make that accusation. But we should tell you that, maybe not coincidentally, today a brand new pipeline was unveiled. A pipeline that carries non-Russian natural gas in roughly the same area as Nord Streams 1 and 2. This is called the Baltic Pipe. It was inaugurated in Poland. It will carry natural gas from Norway through Denmark to Poland and other countries nearby. And it's likely to do.
So what I'm saying is this. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to like me. I don't say don't like me. I don't like y'all. We both have a mutual respect for each other. I'm just simply saying that the algorithm dictates that these things are going to take place. Now, you can stop them, but in order to stop them, you need to do something for me. I can tell you, I have a special set of eyes, and I'm gonna leave it. Is there anything else you want to discuss before we start another video, or we good with this?
Did you want to show them a clip of you and Raphael talking about the pipeline?
Sure. Yes, that's a great idea. So I want you to see that this was discussed with my a good friend of mine. Let me see. New Rich. So myself and a gentleman by the name of New Rich, we were discussing this a couple months ago. Is he he's a numerologist? This guy
he does astrology.
That is a humongous cockroach, man. I think it's gonna come and get you too. I'm not gonna.
Better not.
Well, it's well, I'm not messing with. Yeah. So on his show, we did. You should subscribe to his show. He has a great podcast, a lot of good information. But on his show, we did a show explaining the pipelines were going to get hit. And we were trying to warn people about the pipelines. Where is it?
You called the FBI.
I even called the FBI. FBI hung the phone up on me when I tried to call them about the pipeline attack in America. They plan to do. That's somebody's plan to do. I'm not gonna say who did it. This it. Podcast, Art the Code, pipeline. You guys sign up for his podcast. Take a look at it. We go over a whole bunch of the algorithms. We go over a whole bunch of the artwork. We go over a whole bunch of future events. on the pipeline, and we go over a whole bunch of past events to connect if you weren't sure if something was a murder or something was an accident. It's on Rumble. I have a Rumble page called Can You Dig It 1111, and on the Rumble page you're going to see that we told the pipeline back in May 23rd. We told the we did a podcast explaining that they're hitting the pipelines in America, but also we want to show you that on May the 13th, page 3. On May the 13th, we were explaining to everyone that we found an algorithm that explained the future. So, I was explaining to what we found and how we were able to look at the future and see what's going to take place. So, May the 13th, this year, 2022, it was on a Friday the 13th. I explained that there was going to be an attack in Dubai in 2029, and it was called Future 911. It's called Dubai's Future 911, and you see the date is May 13th. So I'm not going to go into the whole video. I just want you to see that this is in writing. This is in the algorithm where we explain to them that in 2020 Dubai was going to get hit.
We weren't going to do any. We were trying to get our footage together and our content together for the .com, because we're taking all of our stuff up Rumble and YouTube. Because enough of those, we're not sharing our talent and our content with them. They're buffoons. But I wanted to make sure that before we did that, we did a show with y'all, because we wanted to share with this find, because y'all were instrumental in helping find it, and we kind of found it together. So let's walk it through, and I'm gonna throw a couple extra things at y'all to to impress y'all.
Let's dance. It was
like, man, how powerful was that? We got. Oh, by the way, yes, I have more, and I spent my entire day on being petty. I went and did all of Maryland. You understand? Because I'm in Baltimore. Because of the Maryland prisoner abuse. So I did Maryland for I've got 150 years of Maryland individual stuff. I am about to embarrass the entire state. They are about to get something in Maryland. So I've been doing all the Maryland events. So I got all of Baltimore's dirt. And I already had the prison dirt. But now I have the dates and everything set up. But boy, do I have something for you guys with this algorithm. So this is game over. The button is going to get pressed tonight. That was a movie 2012 with John Cusack about the end of the world, and when it was time to go, so they pressed the button, and all the people who had passes to this rich ship had to leave. They're gonna leave tonight, because the algorithm I'm gonna give out tonight is everyone's gonna have it, and you keep finding the same names, keep showing up. And since 1975, it's nothing but Gates Job foundations. And prior to that, we keep seeing Rockefeller, keep seeing Rothschild, we keep seeing these same names. So now, you have a situation where people keep saying Illuminati and all these different organizations, and they just throw these names out here. Well, the devil loves receipts and loves leaving his mark on things, and he's done so with these algorithms. And by doing so, they left everything wide open, and we got their ass. And do we have them? There is nothing that they can't do that we don't have knowledge of. And it's out there, so if anything happens to me, it don't matter. It's already out there, and everyone will find it. So, it's very important. But we got they ass, brother. They can't do anything without us knowing. We have everything. We got past, present, future. We got everything. And I am trying to make a plea to the people of Baltimore, where I come from, to tell the truth. This is the last time I'm going to say it. They better tell the truth, like, very soon. Because, man, humanity has done itself in right now. We've been positioned to do ourselves in. And what goes on in South Dakota affects Dubai. And what goes on in Dubai affects China. And what goes on in China affects Brazil. And I mean everything directly. We are connected. We are connected. And everything is connected. And we are going to show them tonight. And I am saying this. I have no desire to argue or fight or embarrass anyone. But if the people in Baltimore in regards to this prison system do not start telling the truth as of, I don't know, Friday, I'm going to put everything out, and I'm going to put this algorithm out there, and people are going to go to jail. I swear to God. I swear to God. Because it tells you everything. You want to know who killed who and where? It's in the algorithm. And I got it. And I know where to get it from. And the other part that's important. In order to get the algorithm and to get the correct answer, you have to have the ability to know how to access a particular place. Now that part, I'm not telling anybody. So, I want to show you, once Jay gets on here, we're going to tear him apart with something, and we're going to smash him. And anyone says anything and doubts anything, say it publicly so I can do it properly. But not just that.
Oh, here he is.
Is that Jay?
Yes, ma'am.
But not just that. We're going to have some fun. And there he's a gangster. That's gangster. Tupac.
The bull is back.
So Jay, we were talking that we wanted to share this because this is history, and what's awesome is because no one's talking about it now, but because we know that preventable bias, unrefracted error has been resolved, we know that. Yeah. So everyone's going to, we're going to be heard. So the people who control history want to make sure that stay on the right side of history, even if they're going to try to lie about it. But what we witnessed, this is the second time we've done this, Jay. The last time we did this, and right on real time, we were doing the breakdown of Bird on Money, and it was about the towers and the synchronicity, just how everything got together with you, Raphael. With that one was just amazing. I watched that video 3 times on how that just clicked. So let me just jump right into it. All right, 13 years, right? Raphael, can you please get into the algorithm that you found and break it down, explain? Pardon, 1 second.
There was something that I needed to tell you, Raphael, with the algorithm that you found. You started the assassinations off with Abraham Lincoln, right?
Started off with Archduke Ferdinand.
Oh, right, and then Abraham Lincoln. Okay, there is another president in between Abraham Lincoln and JFK. Garfield. Look him up.
And he was assassinated in Baltimore.
Yep.
And guess what? I know what the event's about to be in Baltimore, and them niggas gonna get fried. Watch what happens to Baltimore. I know what's about to happen to Baltimore. They're about to get their comeuppance. They better tell the truth. Because guess what? Even if they don't tell the truth, it don't matter if they tell the truth, gentlemen. Because if they don't tell the truth, it don't matter. Because what's going to happen afterwards is going to be dealing with remnants. So let the remnants tell the truth. They better tell the truth. But it's connected. The assassination of that other president was in Baltimore. It's connected. Them niggas who are letting them people in cages get disrespected and lying on them and stole my money. I swear to God. Guess what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to do what you are doing. I'm going to watch what happens. The algorithm. Please, Raphael, explain your algorithm, because we're about to connect all this together and let everyone understand that this is a simulation and there's rules to it. And for the people who don't follow the rules, there are rules and consequences, and you're going to be dealt with. It has nothing to do with me. It's just the simulation and how it works. And go ahead, Raphael. Can you explain simulation again, brother?
I'll share it too. And just to kind of not even clarify, but we use the word simulation. We're using these words, and it can be really anything, but we use these words because people can assimilate to it. You see what I mean? So if people who get turned off, who like, what? You're missing the meaning.
Yeah, take
take it off. Yeah, take it out. We're just using that word because you can understand it. It's simple.
Right.
It's simple.
Right.
So basically, what I came across research through Archaics was it was called a palindrome isometric formula, because you got to understand we are creatures of pattern recognition. That's what we are. We recognize a pattern, and then we can formulate a thought and an opinion off of that. That's how we get our past, present, and future. So with the palindrome, the isometric, you take two exact events that happen in our history. You find the years in between those two events, and if you're trying to find something in the past, you just take those years and you add it to the last one, or if you want to find something in the future, you add that year total to the one that's in the middle. So that's how it works.
That's beautiful, brother. So yesterday, we found something, and I guess we're going to call it the Arab 911, or the Arab Pearl Harbor, or the, what do we call it, the Arab Wall Street, right? That makes sense. So Raphael, you found a pattern and you found an algorithm that said that in 2029. Why don't you tell me what did you find, brother?
So you had an event in 2001, which was 9/11. We all know that event. Supposedly plane fell into the Twin Towers. Now in history, there was another event when the World Trade Center was first built. That was the tallest building in New York City. An American airline plane actually flew and hit that tower as well. So you take those 2 years, which was 28 in difference. So you take 28 and you add it to 2001, and that gives you 2029, which is going to be the exact same thing that's going to happen in the future. So if you take those two isolated incidences, you have the tallest building at that time in the world that got hit by a plane. So the tallest building right now is in Dubai, which is the Burj Khalifa. And if that one stands to be the tallest building in 2029, you'll see an aircraft fly into that building.
So are you telling me that you can predict the future?
This is just what it is. It's not really predicting the future. This is a pattern.
Right, but do you think that this is it?
It's a way to see into the future. Absolutely.
Okay, so my question is this: do you think there's another person or country that's going to try to build a building taller than that just to try to debunk us?
Time.
Possibly they could be.
Okay, so if you could do me a favor, if you can pull up the Wiz Khalifa building, if you could, and if you can just pull up and screen share how they remove all of the waste from that, the tallest building in the world, right?
This here too, but
so just while you're pulling it up, you're going to find that they don't have a plumbing system in that tall building. You understand? So let me tell you how these things work out. So if you can pull that up and let this, if you can share a screen and show them that they have to show how many tractor trailers have to get pumped out of there every day to remove all the waste from the tallest building in the world, because the people who engineered the tallest building in the world do not have the ability to engineer the plumbing, okay? The tallest building in the world do not have a sewer system, okay? They have trucks. So here how it works, my brother. There is the algorithm that we've explained to you before. It goes like this. Every time there's a massacre, a sacrifice, 13 years after the sacrifice, somebody gets rewarded. So you're telling me in 2029 in Dubai, they're going to get hit by a plane because that's the Arab Wall Street, like the 1921 Black Wall Street in Tulsa, 2001 September 11th, New York American Wall Street, and 2029 will be the Arab Wall Street with the Burj Khalifa building. So let me tell you how diabolical the devil is. If you're looking at that, you'll see they don't have plumbing. You're going to see that in 2029, if you subtract 13 from the number 2029, you're going to get the number 2016. So why don't we pull up if there was any tragic events in Dubai in 2016?
Okay. I'm gonna stop right here. If anybody want to watch that whole episode, you can go on New Rich to watch the whole episode. I did about 15 episodes doing different algorithm patterns. We go from the past, all the way from slavery, from the bubonic plague, all the way into the future. And we do a bunch of them. But I want you to understand that this was done this year, Friday the 13th, May the 13th. And the very next day, this is what happens.
I remember. I get it now. I remember.
4 hours after that video you just saw, 4 hours after that video you saw, he died the same day. So I want you to understand that you people who want to call me crazy and saying I'm angry and whatever, I want you to understand that y'all don't have to listen to me, but the president of Dubai faked his death 4 hours after I exposed their plan. I'm sure that's a coincidence too, that on the exact same day, Friday the 13th, Sheikh Khalifa, who I told you was going to get, the Burj Khalifa building was going to get hit. 4 hours after I posted that, he was dead. I'm sure that's just a coincidence as well, right? Man.
Pull up that one.
Isn't it weird that we have all these coincidences? What's the date of that Rumble one? Is it the same date?
It's on Rumble. It was the very next day.
Next day?
That's
Okay.
why I want you to play that one.
The very next day was on, what you call them? The 14th? Okay,
But I don't know.
The very next day, we did, I wanted to see that listen, the same day we told you what was going to happen, the person who built that building, by the way, he's the one who financed that building. And if you want to know what's going to take place, Dubai is Atlantis. And if you want to know why, because Atlantis is real, but it's not real, but it is real. We have civilizations like Atlantis that have all these advanced things that will allow them to take place for a very short period of time. And after a short period of time, we sink them. And we talk about Atlantis for 1,000 years in the future, and we talk about blah, blah, blah. Well, Dubai is the Atlantis of this simulations, this reality. Dubai was going to sink, is planning to sink in 2029. I have personal knowledge with Dubai and Dubai's future. I was in Dubai in November of 2019, October 2019, to meet with this same particular gentleman because I was bringing preventable blindness to Dubai for Dubai's 2020 initiative. Yeah, I know I'm all over the place, but this same gentleman told me, well, not me, his handlers, 24 hours. So I was supposed to meet with this gentleman, and we had dinner with his handlers before we met with them. I was supposed to meet them the next morning, at which time his handlers told me that in their country they consider black men less than dogs. And at which time we made a mutual understanding that we probably shouldn't meet. So, what the president, Mr. Khalifa, didn't realize is that by not meeting with me, that was a savior of Dubai because it was unrefracted error. Dubai has to get off of oil because of the reset. And now the only expense they have and the only thing they make money off of is oil. But because oil has to go and everything has to be turned over to renewables so we can be controlled and turned into zombies, Dubai has no way of getting rid of their wealth other than exploding it and sinking the entire city. If anybody has any time, take a look at Dubai and its infrastructure and you'll see that Dubai is already sinking. It just needs a culminating event. And if you know anything about poop is take a look. The Burj Khalifa building. Take a look. This building, Burj Khalifa. Take a look. They have tractor trailers every day. Take a look. This is the biggest building, tallest building in the world. Super tall. I'll pull it up for you. Trucks. You understand? They had to get trucks to come and remove the poop from this building every day. So I want you to understand is, who gives a shit? Get it? Who gives a shit? I apologize. It's late. I apologize. Not my wittiest. Not proud of that one. But I want you to understand that who cares that the tallest building in the world, they don't have the ability to get rid of their poop. Now, they have luxurious bathrooms and everything inside of the building, but then when it gets to the outside of the building, they can't be removed. It's like having a fighter jet and plugging it in with an Energizer battery.
Burj Khalifa is a marvel of engineering.
I want you to understand that these buildings here are all skyscrapers. All these buildings are terrifyingly super duper high that you're seeing around here. I was here meeting with these folks, but these are skyscrapers. Keep that in mind.
And thanks to its mammoth height, it almost mimics a small city. The whole building speaks of the structural and architectural.
This sucks. Man, I hate these punks. Nonetheless, look for yourself with a better connection. I have a Mexican connection. It's not the best at particular times, and plus translating the data probably takes a little while. But look for yourself. They had to get trucks to remove the poop from outside this building. So literally, there's like a football field worth of poop under this building that has to be removed every day with tractor trailers. Well, if you know
architectural excellence
what
involved in its
poop
creation,
is also good for, you also know that poop is also fertilizer, and you also know that poop is a bomb.
it faces a ridiculous issue. The issue is none other than poop. Yes, poop. A few years ago, a video surfaced on YouTube depicting a large number of trucks carrying the human waste of Dubai. These trucks were also carrying human waste collected from the large building, the Burj Khalifa itself, and other major centers. To have a better understanding of the problem,
So we're going to stop right there. So I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of visiting this building, and I actually stayed in this building. You know, I know y'all think, you know, I'm broke in Mexico, but I stayed in this building for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. But so when I was there, when they told me this place didn't have a plumbing system, you understand, this place is chic, opulence, everything. Understand that much poop, if ignited, is bigger than Hiroshima, is 10 times bigger than Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. So the only thing they need in order to explode that poop is an explosion. So, once I revealed the plan, you see that once I revealed the plan, 4 hours after I revealed the plan, because I told you what was going to take place, they had to stop the plan. So, the reason why I'm trying to tell you fucking
not them. They listen to us. They watch us.
Well, I mean the ones who are watching and know I'm telling the truth, but too cowardly to do the right thing. You know,
Okay.
the cowards. I'm talking about them.
Okay.
By showing the events, we change the algorithm and we get to stop this from taking place. So they had to kill him, except he is not dead. He had to pay how much money?
How many euros?
1 billion?
1 billion euros.
He had to pay 1 billion euros for him and his family. So, I want you to understand that I know you don't understand everything, and it's too much to get into in one night. But I have a special set of eyes, and I communicate and I hear a very unique way. And I need you to see something from me now. The reason why I keep showing this to you is because I need you to understand that people don't see things always in the right perspective. And all of this is taking place and all this connected. And I swear to God, all of this is connected to this plane fight. And I want you to see with your own eyes. Come on. All of this is connected. I promise you.
You don't put your hands on me! You don't put your hands on me! Wait! You don't put your gun!
So I decided to let you watch this with no sound. This is me being attacked on the plane. And with no sound, and me not screaming like a madman, I think it's very clear to see that everybody here is working together against this one poor guy who's in a plane with his family. So, understand this. Look. Take a look. There's no recordings. This was a more than a 3-minute fight. There's no recordings. You see, these people are working together. They're talking to each other. And my stupid ass has no idea because I'm being pulled in so many different directions. I got people pulling me from the back, the side, and look at them just standing watching poor old me. Why is everybody watching me? Just watching me. What's going on with that? I'm going to tell you what's strange for this fight that's taking place on a plane. You know what's strange to me? No one has a camera. No one still picked up a camera. Look at that. No one saw anything. You know what's even stranger about this to me? What's really strange? That guy right there. Shit. Son of a gun. Take a look at this. Tell me something. Do you think it's strange that during a plane fight with all these people fighting? Come on. Take a look at this. A plane fight is taking place. Punches have been thrown. Don't you think it's strange this guy right here is turned the opposite direction? No one thinks that a 3-minute fight's taking place, that no one's picking up a phone, and this guy right here is just looking the opposite direction. What do you think is more interesting than a plane fight where a black man just got punched in the face in front of his kids, and he's now trying to get to the man who did it? Why is this man turning his head the opposite direction? Did anybody find any of that strange? Does anybody find it strange that no one's picking up a phone? So I need you just to look at that for me. That's a little bit strange that no one seems to be interested in picking up a phone. This is going on for 3 minutes. A fight's taking place. No phones. Where's the phone? I don't see anything. I don't see. Look, his head. What? Why isn't he looking? Why doesn't this man want to look at that fight? Do you see the guy? Everyone just no plane, no phones. Why? Because this was a murder attempt. Because this is about blindness. This is about where's the phone? A fight's going on. Where's the phone? Why is nobody not recording anything? Because this is about blindness. That poor guy had no idea they were trying to murder him because he had just came back from Africa, giving Ghana and Niger. Why isn't there any videos of this on the internet of any of this? But don't worry, you'll see why. But like I said, I have a special set of eyes. I want you to see this.
I want to take a song from our latest, not our latest album, we have a new album, but Let's Stay Together album.
I want you to watch this video.
Rather hot tonight. It's a song that says, I never
understand that there's a system going on that they've been killing people systematically. Al Green was targeted. This particular night, I want you to watch this video. Poor Al Green. He owed me one though. He owed me one.
Since I met Judy, since I met Judy,
Look how close.
love has been warm, sweet melody.
See, you watch things and you don't always know what you're watching. Pay attention.
Never thought I could welcome.
He lucky. He lucky. Al Green owes me a debt.
To other arms, as I
Al Green owes me a debt. No. Listen.
Since I met you,
No. Because remember, he changed the name.
Since I met you,
He changed the name that night.
well, it's been
All I'm saying is this night they was going to get him.
Alright.
Y'all don't know. They was going to get Al Green this night.
Talking about beauty, she's got it. Oh, you know she's got it, yeah. And her sweet little ways mean so much to me. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I make it my duty to love her, guard her, guide her, ooh, baby. I'm gonna keep her right here with me. Yeah. I find it hard to believe that I'm happy. I can't believe it yet, no.
He lucky. Al Green, you owe me. You owe me a debt for this night.
I'm so glad I can tell the world. Since I met you
that night.
Right.
This is the night they try to get him now.
Since I met you there, well, my life has been one sweet song. I won't be worried long.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
If you think I'm gonna leave, well, man, you're wrong. You long as you can be. I tell you, I'm crazy about you. All I
So
can
pay
ever
attention.
think about is Judy.
Poor Al Green. He didn't have a chance though. He was too young. See, they got me when I was older. I was able to see some things. Now,
he got a sister that's missing.
well, we'll get into that.
Wow.
I want you to understand that I see things and perceive things in a very peculiar way that allows me to process things that aren't ordinary. I guess let's say missed, and if I bring them to your attention, you can see him, and then we can be on the same team and the same page, and we can stop these dastardly events from taking place. Now, I know you don't understand it right now, but all this has everything to do with blindness being fixed. All this connected. What people don't realize is that if you think about this for a second, if you think about the heart. If you look at the heart and you take away the heart is such an important organ, and it's so important to how we live and how we survive. It's so important that everything around it dies too when you take the heart. Well, because no one apparently hasn't taken time out to figure out the implications of what happens when you fix worldwide blindness, you don't realize that fixing worldwide blindness doesn't just fix the eyes, it fixes other things and other systems that are dependent on keeping people blind. So all of this is taking place because they're trying to keep people blind. I'm hoping people are going to catch up eventually, because I'm praying someone's going to catch up, because I'm giving everything out for free. But I want you to see that there's a particular character. This guy, not him, sorry. Barry Sims. I want you guys to pull up Barry Sims. You guys pull him up and do his bio. He's got a very, very interesting. He's an implant too. Him, Barry Sims, Benjamin Crump, all them, Mark Fuller. All these people are allowed to do crimes. So what happened is they do crimes in your neighborhoods and to your businesses and try to get you and try to fuck you up. And these are the reason why your businesses are fucked up. They're the ones that get you. They the ones steal from you, and that's their job. Like, look at him. That's E.T. That's a Boogawuuf. And again, with this person here.
So wait a minute. So Putin was saying that they did it 6 days ago. So
Listen.
it's been happening.
Listen, it's ridiculous. So it's ridiculous. So this person here. Okay, again. I'm going to talk about this guy. Like, he grabbed this girl's titty. All right, so I want to tell you about this one by the name of Frances Ann Ford. Show you a picture of her. Let me just Google her. Let me make it easy, so it don't have to look like I'm just trying to pull up stuff I want to pull up. Frances Ann Ford. I ain't even gonna put in what she did. Let me tell you about this person, this character. This is Dr. Frances Ann Ford. This is what you call, she is a picture. She's like classic Boogawuuf. And get you some. So let me tell you what happened here. And I'm part of this algorithm, and this is why these things are allowed to take place and happen to me. They find despicable characters, i.e., like, like your Barry Sims, your Kenyans, your Mark Fullers. They find these characters and they let them get away with actual crimes towards you, regular people, and they don't arrest them. But this chick, Frances Ann Ford, let me tell you about this person. You pull her up, you're going to find that she is under federal investigation because she was giving people fake Botox. She was getting on Groupon, giving people fake Botox. For the doctor, Frances Ann Ford, fake Botox from China. And it wasn't the first time they told her about it. Like, look, everywhere she's here, look at the dates. So I want you to understand that. Look at this. Female ophthalmology, Frances Ann Ford, had to leave her office because they had to shut it down. You see it for yourself. This ain't nothing to do with me. This is, they had to raid her Coral Springs office. The feds had to come in because she was giving people fake Botox and they was having reactions to the fake Botox she was supplying. So this disgusting Boogawuuf, Frances Ford, take a look. She's a Boogawuuf. Worst kind of Boogawuuf too. She has here you go. Feds, take it out. Feds raid cosmetic surgery office using illegal products from China. What's her name? Frances Ann Ford, Boogawuuf. You understand? And they've been selling stuff, and they were giving fake plastic to people from China, telling them that it's real. Boogawuuf. You understand? Check it out. This here was in September 11, 2019. Check it out. Let's check another one out. This just happened. This just happened. She's all over the place. It's all over the place for stealing, fraud. Because what she is you'll see that she was, where did it say the other one? Practitioner license. Anything you pull up her, you're going to see. Let's check some images out. Here you go, boom. Let's check this one. This says. Same one. Okay, so what happens is, part of this program, when they don't like a particular person and want to do a particular thing to a person they don't like, i.e., let's say that you rich and black and fix worldwide blindness, and the little penis people who are ugly, who are going to come get their comeuppance, are mad about it and don't want to acknowledge that blindness been fixed by a rich black dude who ain't asking none of y'all for shit because he's smarter than y'all. So what you do to try to kill him is what you do is you try to kill him on a plane. When that don't work, you send a Boogawuuf to him, and you allow the Boogawuuf by the name of Frances Ford, Dr. Frances Ann Boogawuuf Ford, to steal his money. Now, let me tell you how ridiculous this whole system they've got set up, where they let criminals steal from law-abiding citizens, and then they refuse to prosecute the criminals. This is one of the situations. She's one of those implants, but she is a special implant. Check it out. She stole Frances Ann Ford. Let me tell you her own writing, let you know how dumb this Boogawuuf is. I cannot wait for them to get her, because she just makes things so easy. So understand, look, 2019, look at it. She done given away, she got arrested and everything. She got arrested, and she admitted she was sentenced. You understand? She's a fucking disgusting fraud. She's a lying, disgusting fraud of a Boogawuuf. So you understand? Everywhere she's giving away, and it was very, very obvious. They were from China, and they were not approved. Everybody knew that, and she was just doing it, and she knew what she was doing. But people like that, they take shortcuts because she's a Boogawuuf. Boogawuufs take shortcuts. I actually try to introduce Frances Ann Ford, who is a Boogawuuf. I try to introduce her to Mark Fuller, And here's the funny part. I swear to God, I tried to introduce Mark Alexander Fuller to Francis Ann Ford. I tried to introduce them together and connect them together as a couple. But he told me he didn't want to talk to her because she was ugly and stunk. And she told me that she didn't want to talk to him because he was ugly. And I was like, both of y'all ugly. Both of y'all stink. Like, so that's the thing I like about y'all. Like, y'all want people who are fresh. Like I understand you can't judge, you can't control what you look like. But for y'all to have requirements for people to be fresh and y'all stink, Mark Fuller breath smells just like unflushed toilet water.
Ew. Ew.
I'm sorry. Let me go. Hold tight. I want y'all to know who this is. Mark Fuller. That nigga Brad. Woo. You also gotta also understand it is something to it. For people who have odors that you can't get rid of, man, it is something to it. And that nigga breath used to smell like he had a skunk lodge in his throat. And, listen, and Dr. Francis Ann Ford, which is like a crazy. Here's Barry Sims again. It's Barry Sims. Barry Sims is a Boogawuuf too. Barry Sims and Mark Fuller. They probably. I'm going to go. I'm going to say they're probably related. But Dr. Francis Ann Ford, she stinks. Oh my God! It's like when a woman's like, you a doctor and you stink. It's like Jesus Christ. Like so she was also working together with these two customers, two people out of Florida to get the fake Botox as well. So you understand this is still ongoing. So I want you to understand that this is the person who's been allowed to steal my money. Now, I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I know I've said it a whole bunch of times, but I want to make sure I'm staying very consistent in what I'm saying because it's going to matter, and I want y'all to hear it and understand that I've been saying the same thing from the beginning of this ridiculousness that we've been going through all the way up to the end, where I get to laugh and say you should not have messed with a kind man, because it takes more to be kind than to be a monster. Now, remember this. Now, everybody don't want to believe me. Santos Bonacci tells the truth.
Santan's going to be talking about $1 trillion lawsuit that's in the making.
A little back up. So I care for the prison system. So basically, I'm the guy that goes inside the prison system. We'll go and do your eye exam inside. So we examine the prisoners inside the system, and then we make their glasses for them. My company's been doing that since 2007. Because of the nature of my business, I get to see everyone's records, and we see pretty much 70% of the population, of the inmate population, when we're in prison to do eye exams for them and making glasses. And whenever we get patients that have illnesses or situations that are beyond what we can do or we're legally allowed to do, being that we deal with optometry and opticianry, we have to then refer them out to an ophthalmologist. And the ophthalmologists are the ones that do the diagnosis, that do the surgeries. So
in the state of Maryland, I noticed that I started seeing patients over and over again. I presented the state with 500 patients in a 6-month span who had not been seen, who had been waiting for months and years for service. I'm in a system that's got 60,000 black inmates that have been constitutionally raped, and it's continuing right now. So the least they can do is they're going to force you to be in this filthy environment. Is giving you constitutional amended rights of your medical care. But they don't. They haven't. I have proof. And the funny thing is, the state of Maryland deleted over 500 inmate records that was showing
keep watching. I promise it's worth it.
Discriminated against.
Just keep watching.
So every day their vision gets worse and the condition gets worse and it never returns. And listen, I am the system. Of course, I am alienated and I don't have nobody backing me, and y'all don't realize that I'm in all these different rooms. These are big fights that I'm fighting. I'm telling you, we got a machine that cures cancer, brother. Yeah. We're telling you that the people are neglecting the prisons in the system. Mm-hmm. I'm in a lot of places, and everywhere I'm at, it's a fight. How are you doing social distancing in a 5x3? How are you doing a social distancing in a 5x3 then? That is you can't. I mean, a lot of good things happen for these prisoners at a cost savings to the state. Because for me working in the prisons isn't a job, it's a passion, because these people aren't being seen.
Santana is actually funding with his own money. He's allowing Christian and Fernando, who are the guys behind the magnetic healing machines, to have access to his open bank account. And I can tell you now, by the equipment that has arrived, I think there has been somewhere in the millions for humanity. And
so, you don't hear me saying it. Y'all know Santos Bonacci. He's a white man, or closest thing to a white man for you niggas who only wanna, y'all only wanna hear things of white men. So I want you to understand that I was building the cancer clinic in Mexico. If you don't believe me, ask Santos Bonacci, and I was spending my own money, which makes no sense why I have not a penny right now. So I want you to understand that you can only get the most vile and despicable people who would steal the money from a man who was giving it to a cancer center. You gotta understand that's a vile human being. But she's been allowed to do so, and the police are allowing her to do it. I'll let you see for yourself. Check it out. Dig it. So they allowed her to steal my money, and they will not prosecute her. That's why all this is taking place. You can see for yourself. So she literally, this is my checks. This is a couple. She's literally deposited my checks. Now, my company is called Prison Operation Systems Incorporated. You understand? See the checks? She literally had my checks sent to a P.O. box and deposited my checks. Prison Operation Systems. See that tax ID number? You see that? This is my corporation. She literally signed my checks and deposited into her check account, and to the tune of more than $363,000 of Prison Operation Systems. She opened up a business called POS, Prison Ophthalmic Services, while I was in Mexico building a cancer clinic with my own money. So I understand y'all hate me, y'all want to call me a bunch of niggas and all the rest. What the fuck? But understand, I'm not saying you want you to ask the white man Santos Bonacci what I was doing in Mexico. So understand, while I was building the cancer clinic with my own money, this disgusting environment took my checks and deposited into her own bank account. And Marilyn Mosby knows about it. The city, the Maryland, the mayor office knows about it. Wes Moore knows about it. Everybody knows about it. All this public. The governor, everybody. All this public. Hogan. So understand, this is my company's money. So literally, imagine somebody just deposited your check into their account. They let this shit happen, and it bankrupted me,
bank is involved,
and would not, and refused to give me my money. So, but they tried to murder me too. But I want you to just see.
Come down.
I want you to see that this is going on publicly, just the same way Kenyon, this gentleman right here. See this gentleman right here? Kenyon, the same way he was allowed to fuck them kids for these past 13 years. He keep telling you about all those kids he was fucking, all those kids he was touching, talking to the principal, that they watched, they impregnated. That motherfucker, the ones the police watched and hid that shit, they're letting the exact same shit, except this time I'm the kids. They have destroyed my house. I have $1 million home, or I used to have one. They burnt down 3 of my stores. They stole $363,000 from me. They stolen my yacht. They stolen my bus. They stolen 9 practices. They tried to murder me twice. And it's taking place all publicly. The same way they let this motherfucker touch all them fucking kids. So, let me tell you how public this is and how ridiculous this is. And I'm going to let you listen to the actual conversations that I had with Roberta Gatewood. Roberta Gatewood, your husband's going to divorce you. No one's ever going to want to see you ever in public. They're going to want to spit on you, but I'm going to tell them not to spit on you. I'm just telling them to look at you and let them know, I know exactly what you did. You have a video coming out for you tomorrow, Roberta Gatewood, just for you, Roberta Gatewood. Roberta Gatewood. Just know you got a great video, Roberta Gatewood. Let me tell you how terrible and despicable this is. Okay. It's weird. Yeah. So, this is after this disgusting woman stole my damn checks, right? This is Francis Ford right here, by the way. This is the email that Francis Ford sent after she stole my money. She sent the email on March 31st saying, avoid claim request. She wants to just revoid and resubmit and resend checks. You understand? You understand that her company is called Prison Ophthalmic Services. She stole my money and opened up a business and tried to stole my money. Now understand that all this took place the exact same time they tried to murder me in Mexico. So I want you to understand, the exact same time where I was running for my life in Mexico, this disgusting female, this disgusting, vile human being. Let's get you a good, clear picture of her, so you know it's not my picture. It's the picture of her when she was giving people fake Botox. Because I guess she thinks that's fine. She thinks these things are acceptable to tell patients that she's giving them Botox and not be giving them Botox. I guess she finds these type of things acceptable. But nonetheless, that's her. So I want you to understand that they find all this acceptable and allow her to steal it because this is the situation, and when they want to get somebody they want. So understand that while I was in Mexico, the exact same time while I was in Mexico with Santos Bonacci, with my cancer machine, I need you to understand the exact same time that this person, Dr. Francis Ann Ford, I need you to understand the exact same time opened up a business called POS, Prison Ophthalmic Services. My business is called POS, Prison Operation Systems. You understand? So when she deposited into her bank account, I'm sure they was like, okay, POS. You understand? So this is fraud. She submitted this. She's done this more than 6 occasions, stealing more than $363,000 of POS's money. There's been 2 separate investigations internal by government organizations. The Maryland MBE has done its own internal investigation, and I'm going to let you listen to it on your own tomorrow. And the ruling was this was fraud and theft, and Dr. Ford defrauded and stole money from POS, Prison Operation Systems. Also, the DPSCS, Earl Etting, has also acknowledged that my money was stolen by Dr. Francis Ford. And despite that, Roberta Gatewood of State Auto is telling me to provide documents when I was stolen from, and she knows that I have twin babies. Mr. Neal, you married Roberta Gatewood. I promise you, when I'm done with her, you're not going to want to hold her hands again because she is vile and she will be remembered and seen. matter of fact, let's go and show a picture of Miss Roberta Gatewood now, since let's go ahead and just get a taste of what's going to come tomorrow, Miss Roberta Gatewood, because you are special. Certain people do certain things that require a special action. And Miss Gatewood, damn, where are you? Where you at, Gatewood? You just got married, Miss Gatewood. Let me let you know that your marriage and all that stuff you got going on, I'm letting you know it's coming directly from the source. None of that's working out. And let me just get started with how this is going to go down. Is it morning 26 Gatewood? Where are you? Let's get us a picture of Miss Gatewood. You know, because she had a lovely wedding this year. It's funny how, you know what's hilarious? Miss Roberta Gatewood just had a lovely wedding this year. She just got married. The exact same thing was going on with Dr. Frances Ann Ford of Stolen Money. She had a wedding too. Where's it at? Roberta Gatewood. Is that it? Gatewood Neal. Let's see, nuptial marriage. She got married. Where's the picture at? I had a picture of you. Where's my damn picture? You know what? You're very lucky. I am so terrible at my computer, and I can't figure out which of these pictures are yours, Miss Roberta Gatewood. But rest assured, I am going to introduce your husband to something that he couldn't have known when he met you. Which one is this one? God, I cannot wait to find just people to see your face and let them know what you did and how you did it. Nope. Boom. That's not it. That's another one. You'll see that one later. But let me, so I want you to see. This is POS, Prison Operations Systems, my organization. This is my tax ID number. This money and all my $363,000 was deposited into Francis Ford's account. The same one for fucking fraud. So understand that I've worked for the Department of Justice for 13 years with a squeaky clean record. While I'm in Mexico, the bitch who was giving out the fake Botox, who looks like a goddamn Boogawuuf with a big ass jaw, she looked like Evander Holyfield, and her husband's a punk clown. And listen, she hates that nigga. She hates her husband's guts, but he's a clown, and she just needed somebody to get her. Because she had broken the law, she needed the clown with some money to help back her up, because she knew what she was doing was dirty. But I want you to understand that 13 years of service, squeaky clean record. I work for the Department of Justice. I ain't got no problem. I got no skeletons, no nothing. The person who, the fraud, who giving people fake Botox, you know, understand? This fraud doctor who's on probation for giving people fake Botox, who has acknowledged in her own fucking email that she needed to, look at this, man, she needed to resubmit her payments because she resubmitted her payments wrong, my paychecks. You understand? Still with all that, Roberta Gatewood is telling me. So I'm going to say, I'll get into what she's saying tomorrow. So I want you to understand, she literally put in writing that she made errors with POS and she needed to resubmit the claims. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to allow you to hear the entire conversation with the MBE, to hear the conversation, to find out the results of the investigation. So I want you to understand, the state auto in Roberta Gatewood, my insurance company, is refusing to pay the claim where my $363,000 was stolen, even though the MBE, an outside organization, has made a determination that it was fraud of theft of me by her, and the DPSCS, Earl Etting, has made a determination that it was theft by her from me. State Auto has refused to pay me or make her pay my money back. They're telling me to get a fucking attorney. But here's the thing. I don't really care about that. What I'm here to do is let you know, Roberta Gatewood, that you have fucked with a different kind of character. And I swear to God, every single thing that you put your hands on is going to fail. Everything in life, everything's attached to you. Every single thing attached to you is going to fail. Because you're a special character. But I just wanted to kind of get into this tomorrow to kind of give you a taste of the kind of games that people play, and they doing this shit. And For you people who are so mad at this guy, Mr. Kenyon, Mr. Stefan Kenyon, I'm telling you, do not be mad at Stefan Kenyon. Don't be mad at him. They want you to be mad at him because you're angry. They want you to be mad at this kung fu nigga who's a pastor. Don't be mad at the kung fu nigga who's a pastor. Don't do that. And by no means am I trying to disrespect that nigga, because that nigga can fight. I assure you that nigga can fight. No problems with him. But I tell the truth. But you think you're mad at a pedophile, and they're always going to make him the most worst character. You think you're mad at a pedophile, a kung fu pastor who's a pedophile. Please redirect that anger back to the institutions that allowed this man to be around all these children for 13 years. You're also going to find that his record was deleted. You're also going to find that if you follow me and you realize my Judge Judy case, you're going to find that the men I was in a fight with never were arrested, and they were actually awarded a judgment for $60,000 against me. The whole thing got removed and erased. There's a system here that removes everything and pretend like it doesn't happen. But we'll go into it further. But the reason why I wanted to show you Al Green is because Al Green was subject to an attack. He was subject to an attack, and it's a funny story. The story Judy, that's here, he's dead. People don't realize that story was that song was actually not the real.
I'll take a song from our latest, not our latest album. We have a new album, but
it wasn't even the actual
Let's Stay Together album.
Real name of the song. So this album right here is this right here is an attack. I have a different kind of set of eyes, so I notice things a little differently than other people. And Al Green's life was saved this night because he was being set up for a terrible event. But I did something I usually don't do, and I traveled back in time, and I told Al Green to change the name of the song. The name of this song was originally going to be called "Since I Met Roberta Gatewood," and then it was going to be called "Since I Met Francis Ann," you know. But then I told him, I said, "Hey, Al Green, change the name of this song." I sent him a message, a psychic message, back to 1973. That's the year I was born, and I told him to change the name of the song because he was being trapped. And I'll let you see for yourself what's really going on.
I'll take a song from our latest, not our latest album. We have a new album, but Let's Stay Together album.
Now,
a little hot tonight.
Alright, so y'all missed what happened right there. Let me show you what you missed. And back that one more time. Now, he was stuttering with his words because he was saying it's from his new album. It's not my latest album, because he got the message that he had to change the song. What happened this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is Al Green stumbled into a Boogawuuf nest. and he knew that he was in a Boogawuuf nest because he could smell. Boogawuufs have a certain kind of smell to them, and I told him that it was a Boogawuuf nest, and you're going to see his reaction when he realizes that there's a whole bunch of Boogawuufs here. But take a look.
I'll take a song from our latest, Not our latest album. We have a new album, but Let's Stay Together album. Rather hot tonight.
Nah. He can't see. The lights are so bright. See, they try to blind him.
Song that says,
see, he gonna start looking around. God, look at him. Now the lights got dark. You see? Now you can see. Woo! So now I can see. See? He looked around and he saw that he had stumbled into a Boogawuuf house. It's a bunch of Boogawuufs. And he knew that he had to find the whitest name he could think about. So that's why he's thought of the name Judy. It was going to be called, since I found Roberta. Not Roberta Futrell, because Roberta Futrell is beautiful and I love her. And I love her. Roberta Gatewood. I think he was going to call it Roberta Gatewood, but let's just listen to what he calls it. Watch his reaction. Look at him.
Since I met you,
Watch this.
life has been warm, sweet melody. Yeah, I never thought
He looking around.
I will come.
He like, look at him. He looking around.
No, baby.
He's like,
You are the heart.
watch this. Damn. He's like
As I do.
He's like a Boogawuuf.
Hey,
But
since I met you there.
there's a message in this song.
Since I met you there.
I want you to see the pain on the people's faces.
A real hip thing. I'm telling you. Same matter what. Do it. Talking about beauty. She's got it. Oh, you know she's got it, yeah. And her sweet little ways mean so much to me. I'm sitting here thinking I make it my duty to love her, guard her, and guide her. Ooh, baby, I'm gonna keep her right here with me. Yeah. Find it hard to believe.
Yeah.
That I'm happy.
Yeah.
I can't believe it yet, no.
Now,
All the pains and heartaches are all gone. I'm so glad I can tell the world.
there you go.
Since I met you.
Boom. Frances Ann Ford right there. And this I've been trying to warn you about. She's a time traveling Boogawuuf. They said Frances Ann Ford. They sent Frances Ann Ford to get Al Green. And she didn't get Al Green. She ended up getting me. She stole all my money. But look, you can see it for yourself. So Chaz, like she's like, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get him. 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 It's a Boogawuuf. It's Frances Ford. You look at her. It's her. It's her. She's a time traveling Boogawuuf. She's like the Terminator. She wants to make sure that she's trying to stop the future. It's like Sarah Connor. So she figured out she can stop blindness. She's a time traveling Boogawuuf doctor trying to stop blindness. Oh shit. Oh my god, it's terrible. Oh man, that is terrible. Okay, let me just end with this last thing. I want to close in. Dr. Francis Ann Ford, you are a despicable human being. But the only person more despicable than you is a person who will go along with what you did, man. It's like, come on, like, man, I gotta type this in, but I don't want to give away my joke. Oh, you know what? I got a picture of Dr. Francis Ann Ford's wedding, if you want to see it. So understand, the money from the cancer clinic that Santos Bonacci told you about. How do I do this? Where is it? Warning. 1 second, I'm pulling up the wedding. Where's the wedding? There you go. No. Where's the wedding? Okay, well, let me check here. So, I like to make sure that, like, let's show you, this is what happened to the cancer center money. So all the people who were at the cancer clinic,
man and wife,
this is where all your money went. That's Dr. Agnew right there. His name is Kelechi Agnew. Hold tight. I want you to understand that his name is Kelechi Agnew. Right there. This guy right here. His name is Kelechi Agnew. He's married to. He's married to Dr. Francis Ann Ford. And this is their wedding. Oh God!
Storybook.
Oh God! So, oh God! In conclusion. Barry Sims. Barry Sims. Oh shit! Hold tight. Oh, this guy's a pedophile. Understand, it's not an accident. Hold it 1 second. I want to say this. forget. Mark Fuller, you thieving fraud, you implant. And anyone who's from Baltimore who knows Mark Fuller, y'all remember he got convicted of a Ponzi scheme. You're gonna pull him up right now. You're gonna find all of it's gone. So that's Mark Fuller as a kid. This is he was cute too. He had a future. Now this is again for recap. This is Mark Fuller. He's a fraud. He defrauded his brother, who was autistic, out of his money, from his dad and mother's money. You understand? This is Mark Fuller. You understand? They call him Mean Mark Fuller because it's a frequency. You don't name your child Mark. If your name is Mark, change your name. It's a bad frequency. It puts you on a bad frequency. It's not means you're a bad guy, but it's a bad frequency. It's gonna make things hard for you. Change your name. So Mark Fuller, and you're gonna see again. Here's this complete fraud. He's a Mark Alexander Fuller. He's a complete fraudster, and he's a Boogawuuf. It's verified. I can pull it. He's a document in the Boogawuuf Hall of Fame. And his breath, his mouth smells like an outdoor toilet. And this is him as a young man. Before he let the world make him ugly, he was cute. He was cute. This is Stephen Kenyon. I'm not gonna say a damn thing about him because that nigga, that's a dangerous dude. Very dangerous. But as for what's going on with those children, that is despicable, and I will not be a part of any of that. And I will lend my assistance to anyone but the police, because them the dirty dogs that let him go around and do this. So remember that when all this is going on, that he couldn't get access to all those kids without them erasing his records and giving him a clean bill of health. And understand he's been allowed to work inside the prison system as well, because I did a full background check and a full fingerprint check on him to find out nothing about him, nothing in his background that showed anything about this. But I promise you, you're going to find that he was convicted and they removed everything. So, in closing, Barry Sims is a Boogawuuf. Benjamin Crump, do not allow me to not acknowledge Benjamin Crump for being the Boogawuuf of the year. Benjamin Crump, you are the Boogawuuf of the year, and you earned it. So everyone's going to not forget who you are. Where you at? Benjamin Crump. Benjamin Crump. You you are the Boogawuuf of the year. This guy right here. This is the Boogawuuf of the year, the zombie, Benjamin Boogawuuf Crump, the Boogawuuf of the year. Now, don't get me wrong. Barry Sims, you get it too. Barry Sims, you get it too. So all I'm simply saying is this. I'm a kind man. You may not be able to see from what's taking place this evening, but everything's been allowed to happen to me. And most importantly, I haven't even told you that they poisoned 2 of my children in this process of all this fuckery that we're talking about. But I do things in a particular way because what I haven't discussed is I did fix worldwide blindness, and there's some people who are standing in the way of worldwide blindness, and one particular person named Roberta Gatewood. So I want to show you who she is inside and out, and show you what she did, and you can decide whether or not you think that she's one of the most despicable, vile human beings you ever met. Your choice. But Frances Ann Ford, I'll go ahead and give you some more stuff on her tomorrow, but I just wanted to give you a taste of it, that whenever a person's trying to do good things, the devil is so wicked. The devil is so wicked that they will send a time-traveling Terminator. She's like, they will send time-traveling Boogawuuf to defeat you. But, you know, It didn't happen. So, I want to say this. Everyone, just tell the truth. Tell the truth, and all this can go away. And just tell the truth. And the things y'all just, I don't understand how you sleeping. Don't forget Taj McMillan. Don't forget that you're part of this. Robin Johnson of Horizon Health Sources, Sean Lewis of Horizon Health Sources, Tasha McMillan of Horizon Health Sources. Don't forget Sasha Vasquez of the Maryland MBE. Remember, all of you are part of this, so don't forget that. So in closing, Dr. Frances Ford is a boogawuuf. Her husband, Dr. Agby, is basically, when you're watching Norbit, you're watching a real life of Dr. Kelechi Agby and Dr. Frances Ford. What I'm trying to impress upon you is what you did was so vile. I want everyone to know what you did, so when you're spending all of that money that was meant for the cancer patients, I hope that it's worth it. I hope that people seeing your deeds and your face and what you did was worth it. Because you're going to find out having $1 billion and doing the worst thing in the world makes your money worthless. You'll find that out, Dr. Frances Ann Ford and Dr. Kelechi Agby. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. So, I'm going to go get me some sleep because it's late. I just want to get this information out there, and I'll talk to you soon.